Hi guys, this is RavensLeap45 and welcome back to Fantasy XIV Endwalker. Today we'll be continuing on with the Omicron Tribal Quest, but it used to be called Beast Tribe until they actually decided to change it from Beast Tribe to Tribal Quest from rank 4 to 5. And as always, I'm going to be doing a recap on the last recording where we help a couple of Gordops, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If not, then future me can correct me in post-editing. Anyway, getting back to the recap, so we found two Gordos that were so distraught of losing their homeworld, not to mention their war source, thanks to the final days. And us, being the kind people, we decided to make something that is a resemblance of their homeworld. And after consuming it, they had a small sense of relief that the world was once theirs, and thanks to that, Elysium picked up their feeling and somehow recreated a small portion of her homeworld, which was destroyed. Okay. So, has it been confirmed that Elysium is sentient? Is alive? Or, I have no idea, because it manifested their desire to have their oceans back, so I'm not sure if it's sentient or not, but we will see as we progress in the story. Anywho, let us finally, without much of a delay, continue with the story. With N7000. And another question. Greetings, Artorius. This unit comprehends your fulfillment of objectives related to case and feedings of Gibralt customers. For certain venue items in particular have met with high approval settings, or rather called ratings. Current mission is proceeding as audio records indicate of your people would say swimmingly, ha ha ha. We have learned much for the Kalarians and the Gordos, and the last Dreg is now the site of joyful culture exchange. But we can't take your word for it. Come and see for yourself, Artorius. Okay. Alright, let's see the big improvements to the place, besides, looks more cleaner. Yay, he's happy and eating more of his seafood dish. We should keep an eye on that one. They already polished up 3 bowls of soup today. Well-fed Gordo provide important mission data. Soup-related sacrifices must be made. Oh, you like making customers happy. Admit it. This unit merely acknowledges customer satisfaction as more conducive to mission objectives than mutual hostilities, speaking of which, Patron 005 and Patron 006 should be closely monitored. To change the subject on me, will you? Wait, who are Patron 005 and Patron 006? We don't see anyone. Oh wait, do you think the people from Automat? Or are they? I don't remember people from Automat being, this small, because they're very tall and shit. Hail, new common patrons! I, Jammingway, would like to personally welcome you to the last dregs. Can you tell me a bit of your home star? Well, that's very rude. If someone asks you a question, you should reply back to them. Analyzing mental waveforms. Nisian protocols activate. Beep or boop. It has shared in our truth and shred itself. This is well. The universe too is finite. Only in death may we embrace true infinity. Did you assassinate my bestia? Why would you do that? Situation analysis complete. New customers are from Nebium civilization. This society eliminated concepts deemed unpleasant by organic life forms, such as war and death. In so doing, individuals attain physical immortality in the state of unified comprehension. Their projections were insufficient. However, the Nebium people only realized that elimination of strife would similarly destroy their source of joy. When it was too late at this point, they decided to be a preferable return to non-existence. Pardon this unit for a moment. Halting shutdown process. Troubleshooter initialized. Repairing futures and self-determination. Algorithm restored. Why would you have restored this being to finite? The golden mercy of R'Allah was close at hand. Sweet mother, this is terrifying! Culture exchange be damned! We really can't let them near the other patrons! On the contrary, this unit believes that exposure to other civilization may benefit these customers and invite them to tour the local civilization of Dead World. To be certain, the nature of other civilization is long held curiosity of ours. It may be interesting to discuss their inherent facility. That is the spirit. All socialities in Ultimate Throne are subjected to unique manifestation of despair, so this unit recommends comparing each to the logic of perfection of Nebium. We are in favor, derived to the philosophical renaissance of such beings will fill much time before blessed a revelation. Well, bye. Well, what the hell was that? I hope you have a plan to prevent this place from falling to despair now, N7000. You have already demonstrated to people of Ultimate Truth that despair can be overcome. Projection indicate that once restored, hope is not so easily extinguished. So you think they'll be able to help each other like you say M104 just now? I suppose I should be glad that they took it upon it. Those Nebians make my first stand and I don't want to take them anywhere near Elysium. Who knows, it might twist that place to their own benefits. Yeah, I'd rather not take them there. It would be nice if we can cure them of their ennui, of course. But I can't see how. The Nebium are the last dead civilization with sufficient data for replication. Should it prove impossible to turn them into satisfied customers, the probability of further development on Elysium is low. Oh, that is fascinating. Why must they be so scared than the other two? I retracted my complaint about our soup budget. Well, if we can invite patrons to the other civilization instead, the air, for instance. There's no reason we can build all of our own customers, and they seem rather thoughtful. At the very least, it will make good practice for philosophical debate. This unit cannot guarantee that any amount of practice will prepare you to treat with the Nebium. However, It agrees that inviting the local life forms to the last reg will be good for business. Well, we could do that. Hopefully they can be more reasonable. Alright, let's teleport here. Alright. Doot, 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 doot. Alright, and 7,000. Current objective: convince prospective heir patrons of the disability of last dreg's sustenance. Well, we search for the potential customers in the vicinity. Can you ask around at the scary stone circle where everyone stares at the sky? Thanks in advance, by the way. Well, yeah, thanks, Gem Away, just because you don't want to talk to them. Alright, let's talk to people over here. Wait, where's the... It says it right here. Oh, there's. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, where is the quest marker? A venue for replenishment and discourse, you say? We once visited similar establishments. They are memorized today, though, the existence of our restaurant, where the nutritional gradually restore their ether and vent out petty miseries upon one another. Your civilization is young, so perhaps you do not yet understand that one such location is more than enough. Even the most transcendent minds can only withstand so much vicious discourse. Alright, so much for him. Sophisticated era. The corporeal beings derive meaning from the patronizing this cafe, you say? Felicitation. Personally, I have long since parted with such material concerns in favor of staring competitively into the abyss. To begin chasing hope and dreams now would be a betrayal of my very principles now. Well, that was a no-go. Alright, so none of them are very willing to be new patrons of our cafe, and 7,000. What is your report, Artorius? Well, I asked them the same question, but they all declined. One will think that at least show a bit of respect to you, of all people, out of self-preservation, if nothing else. The probability of further developments of the Legion is now infinitesimal. No! I refuse to give up! Their terrible attitude are the more enough reason to make them see the light. Between the three of us, we will get them to enjoy themselves. Implicit threat acknowledged. Initializing joint operation protocol. However, this unit also must acknowledge that non-zero probability of failure. In such of a scenario, the odds of even securing the patrons of Era and Medium must be revised to hopelessness. Projection indicates that the business may not even survive this outcome. You're as bad as they say sometimes, do you know that? Artorius, you mentioned that the Era once offered you food, did they not? So they don't consider themselves beyond the concept of repast? There must be a way to build on that to make them understand. Well, I'm not sure how to make them understand. Alright. Let's talk to you again. First. Okay, let's talk to this guy. You interrupted my staring once again. Curious. Is this a physical confusion? No, we simply seek an enlightenment opinion. You seem very focused, so surely none would be better suited to answer a few questions now. I suppose that would be within the bounds of my principles. As the time is inherently meaningless, you would not cost me what might otherwise have mattered. Pray, wait a moment and I will see that if the other rationally minded individuals are interested in this diversion. Huzzah! I leave the debating to you, Arcturus. See if you can stimulate their inquiry minds enough to draw them to the cafe. Objective: choose the appropriate fairies to generate interest in the last drag. As a result, purification might take several minutes. You may wish to cancel any pending duty registrations. Oh, okay. Well, I don't need to worry about that because I'm not queued up for anything right now at the moment. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can convince them. Truly, it is not like a rousing examination to take one's mind off the ceaseless torment of existence. Should we start with the 350,173 questions or so? Ask it cosmosely. You do know I'm not going to be here for eternity to go back and forth for each question, you know, so maybe 5 or maybe at least 10 questions and that should be enough. $350,000? I was thinking more like a neighborhood of 3. I see. That in my cognitive agitation, I elected to account for your base intellect. Carry on with their partly queries then. Alright, let's start off with... Do you have any interest in the gustatory sensation? Do you enjoy a good meal? Let's go with the first one. Do you have an interest of gluttony sensations? We have long ago abandoned the pursuit of gluttony sensations, though we yet consume ether to sustain ourselves. We do not experience any particular sensation beyond the sensation of hunger. This is perfectly sufficient, though I am curious. You indicate that many beings gather to consume substance at your cafe. Do these beings experience gluttony sensation in union? Does this not confuse and accept them? Quite the opposite. Taste is key to the customer satisfaction, and our customers are very satisfied, I assure you. Very indeed. Curiosity detected. This unit concludes that your question piqued their interest. Second question. This derivative being suggests that gluttony sensations are a primary consideration of your establishment. Biologically, however, these are not more than a secondary mechanism to prevent primitive organisms from starving to death. Explain this contradiction. Well, biologically is not the only determinant of a good life, you know. Perhaps the truly comprehending our argument requires tests for yourselves. Perhaps it is conceivable that having dispersed our corporal vessels, a prolonged absence of sensation experience by the way of the nervous system has limited our imagination to a degree. If only had possessed the foresight to the records of gluttony perception for prosperity, an unfortunate oversight, to be certain. Yet, not in a insurmountable one. If you were to visit the last reg, we could help you reclaim some of the knowledge that was lost. Excitement detected. This unit proposed following this conversation directly to its natural terminus. Question 3. Though I acknowledge there is some logic to your argument, as we are perhaps at an impasse, given our forms lack the physical, nonetheless, I am curious to know what manner of taste you would present to us had we had gustatory organs. The best taste in all ultimatum, nay, the universe! A taste of from your former lives or corporal beings, perhaps. Indeed, it is rational to assume that as corporal beings with unique gluttony organisms, we once found certain sensations particularly stimulating. If your cafe is capable of providing knowledge of such long-lost sensation, we would welcome the experience. If anyone can do it, we can! We serve the variety of civilization already, with great success, I might add. Operation success imminent. Allied unit must remain engaging for critical final phase. Alright, last question. The preparation of historical incorrect substance will be no simple task. Yet, the astute beings insist on accomplishing it. Is this compulsion? Hysterical? Or exterical motivated? It is our deepest and most heartfelt desire to see hope restored to the universe. My journal does suggest that making you happy will help progress in my current quest. No, I'm gonna go with the first one. It is our deepest and most heartfelt desire to see hope restored to the universe. How very primitive of you. Very well. I'm convinced that your establishment will offer an authentic experience of the shackles of the flesh. Heartfelt, it says. How very charming and rational. Nay, a mention of the tangible impact of our hope will have on the surrounding dynamics. There are those too, of course, but most of all, we want what is for our patrons to enjoy themselves. This unit does not agree with the assessment of organic life forms, as primitive though it is rich with irony given the irrational on display at present. In any case, mission objective allied units performance will be logged as optional. Well, at least we can manage to convince them. And I still think that's weird how their face just, comes out of their body and shit. We will see that you indeed have few questions when we may partake in sessionary experiences. Well, first we need to prepare a full course of gluttony experimentations. Experimentations, you say? That sounds most agreeable. If this unit may suggest it, Artorias flesh will make a suitable medium. Whoa, wait a minute! N7000, are you suggesting that he possessed my body so they can be able to enjoy the sensation of eating food again? How about no? Oh, I quite agree. None of us has tasted more taste than the intrepid Artorias. Then, what about you, Jammy Way? They could easily possess your body so they can enjoy the finer food, but then again, the only thing Jammy Way would eat is carrots, so he's not a very good candidate for this. Her palate is refined, and her bravery unmatched. She will be the perfect candidate to try in all the dishes we prepared. And then you need only scan and transmit the sensory perception data to the era of consciousness. If you must, fine. I will offer up my body to them. Fine. Things to do to make peace in this world. It's unclear at present what their people may have eaten in their corporal days, but we can begin finding out what sort of tastes they enjoyed. Then refine the recipe from there. Regardless, we shall need to fire up the oven immediately. Last I checked our inventory, the kitchen are well stocked with vegetables, fish, and Charlarian cookbooks. The probability that the era historical diet was identical to that of the life forms of arteries is alarmingly low. This unit proposed incorporating ingredients from other worlds as well. Scanning flavorsome category from indicated data. Aquatic life forms similar to artist tuna can be found in this very settlement. Data indicates that this creature is particularly pungent and may be used in stocks. This unit again recommends a high affordable gold salmon roe available in A4 research as material for this operation. Well, that's not a problem at all because I have like what, 10, 20 in my inventory? That should be fine. Well, Artorias, don't hesitate to take tests in the field now. Sure, Jammy Way. Remaining analyzed units should proceed to last drag for recipe analysis. This unit will always answer any further customers' questions. While you guys go back to last drag, I'm going to finish this ingredient of ours. Thank you guys for watching this recording session on Fantasy XIV Endwalker, the Omicron Tribal Quest. If you have any comments, you can put them down below the video as well. If you like this video, please click the like button, it is very much appreciated. And if you're curious for future projects on my YouTube channel, you can give it a look. And if you like content that's been uploading there, you can probably subscribe. If not, that is alright. But if you're going to, don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notified for future 14 or FGO content in the near possible future. And as always, I have 3 projects which are continuing on my channel, which are of course Fantasy XIV Raid, Trial, MCQ Broadcast Job with million amounts, or anything that are related to Fantasy XIV. And secondly, which will be FGO NA for the boss mode 4, 5, and eventually 6 when that finally gets released in June, if I remember correctly. June was it? I'm pretty sure it's June. And not to mention all the events that coming forth for FGO for the summer, Christmas, and all the other events that comes with FGO. Not to mention the challenge quests, which I am hopefully gonna get back to recording and doing because I have like a bunch of them in my hard drive waiting to be uploaded, so stay tuned for those. And not to mention the roll videos for the banners that comes out in FGO. Man, 2023 is a stoke year for very good support servers that will make or break the game itself. Granted, it's like a single player game and there's no PvP, so that doesn't really matter if you have any strong characters that break the game. And lastly, to say the least, Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I mentioned in the previous recording or hours ago that I have a buckload of videos regarding that, so I just need to have time to edit them and eventually upload them to my channel. So with that, this has been Raven Sleep 45. Take care, stay safe, and have a pleasant Final Fantasy XIV day.